Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't ever met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have not.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
Sing!
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No, I don't
care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook, right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget, live, not so live, from the low budget live bar and grill, bar and bunker. And this is low budget live, not so live for Friday. What? Friday? Friday, December 18th. And this is a very, very special edition LBL. I had mentioned this a while back that I want to start doing more and more and more with the podcast. And I've got the opportunity to do that. And so today's going to be a little different. As you all know, Biloxi Blues, it kicks off the show is a song that I wrote. And I spent many, many years writing music, playing music all over the country and back, I feel like, and met a lot of fantastic people. Have a lot of friends that have been very successful in the music world, and I'm very fortunate to know them. And so I want to feature more and more of them on this fine show. And especially if it ties in, they like the outdoors, it makes it that much better. But gotta say real fast before we jump into this, huge thanks to the fine folks at StarTron and Starbright, kicking ethanol in the teeth since its inception and bringing you low budget live since its inception. So just mates up perfectly. Nothing ruins a great day on the water like an outboard engine that won't run. Put it in your chainsaw. Put it in your weed eater. Put it in your side-by-side. Put it in your boat right now while sitting in the garage because you're deer hunting. Make sure ethanol don't gum up the works. Right there, get you some StarTron. Also, the fine folks at Sims Fishing Products, bringing you LBL and the Traveling Circus. And I'm here to remind all of you low-lifers, you get one life. Fish it well. And last, but certainly not least, the official boat of the Low Budget Live program and the Traveling Circus, Express Bass Boats out of Hot Springs, Arkansas, bringing you all that hot, high-performance goodness that you could ever want in a bass boat for a fraction of the cost, and you don't give up anything. Can't wait to walk downstairs from the LBL Bar and Grill, make a left-hand turn out into the shop, and boom, there sits a beautiful X21 Pro. Cannot wait. So got to thank those sponsors for bringing you LBL each and every single week. Twice this week. Twice. 2 LBLs. Going to start doing more and more and more. 2021 as it rolls in here. And this was, so I filmed this. I'll set this up. This was on Zoom. We did this Zoom call just here earlier today. And this group, they're a duo. I met them, and of course we talk about all this, but I met them years ago, and they're 2 of my favorite people that I've ever ran across in all my travels, whether it be fishing or music. Amazingly talented people, great people, and they're that working class musician just out there grinding it out, playing shows, writing a million songs, and they've seen several of their friends, quote, make it big. And there's to me, there's different definitions of making it in any situation of life. But in music, there's several different types of making it to me. And I think these guys would agree. But they've stayed after this dream for so long. And it was very interesting to me to talk to them about how COVID has affected them, how it's affected the music industry. Because I think that's something that maybe, a lot of people don't think about. They're like, shut up and sing. We don't want to hear about that. Entertain me. And it's really taken a toll on a lot of venues and damn sure a lot of artists like these guys. So without further ado, for the first time ever, I can promise you there are 2 live, not so live performances from an amazing group in this interview. But go check it out right now. These are my buddies, Towne. Well, as I just mentioned, we have the band Towne today right
What's
here.
up?
Mr. John Decious and Miss Stevie Steeves. And like I said before, I've known these folks for a minute.
A hot minute.
A hot minute.
Honestly, how long has it been? Because it's been
9 years?
It's got to be close to that.
Yeah.
It's got to be close to that. And I want to say,
decade.
you guys walked in over on Elm Hill one night, and I was like, who in the hell are these superstars? I did. And I'm like, small town dude up there, like singing my 3 songs, thinking I'm getting rich and famous, not knowing how any of this crap works at all. And you got the cowboy hat on and the dang skinny jeans were bright, and Stevie's like leathered out with a tambourine. I'm like, oh hell, what have I gotten into up here? And then you guys opened your mouths, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. I don't belong in the city. And then it was like you turn around and there's somebody else that's really good, and somebody, and I'm like, I'm going back to selling boat parts, and I may start a fishing podcast. But thank you guys so much for joining me. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I love this so much.
This is awesome. And we were just talking about Elm Hill Tavern just the other day.
Elm Hill.
And that was, we did our very first show ever there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So you were probably there at our first time we ever tried that shit.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man. And that was in the days that you got, so you're the band name is Towne with an E on the end for all of you guys and gals out there not paying attention. There will be a quiz. These guys were known as the Devious Angels the first time I ever met them. I just knew them as John and Stevie, but they also had that cool band name. You're like, what are these? It's like flames coming around them as they come in the door of the smoky bar we're hanging out in.
Yeah.
And truly getting to know these folks, great people, first of all, but just amazing musicians and songwriters that just love to tell stories through music. And that's what I wanted to talk about with y'all today. You've got your awesome album that you just released about it's been out a month.
Yeah, it's been out a month on all the digital everythings. It's kind of been
on vinyl too.
Yeah, there's the vinyl of it.
Yeah.
It's been a long story with this. It was supposed to be out everywhere much, much sooner, but obviously with 2020, we had to just kind of go on the fly and figure it out. So
we've been trying to navigate this just like everyone else. It's been interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we had all intentions of touring very heavily this year, and then putting out the album like right after summer, probably.
Yeah.
And then that did not happen.
So when you talk about navigating those waters, 2020 is obviously for everybody, no matter what industry you're in. For the most part, people have all just had to readapt, figure out what's going on. But when your livelihood comes from mainly look, let's just call it what it is. The music industry, it's very hard to make a living in these days anyways.
Yeah.
And a bulk of your income is always going to come from live performances or selling merch or, because a lot of people go, oh man, you got this big song or it gets this many hits on YouTube. Man, you guys are killing it. Spotify, it's awesome. But that's not necessarily the case, right? It's more about the live shows.
Yeah, I mean, especially for us, it is all about the live shows. We know we've been doing this for so long, but we're still a brand new band, because nobody's heard of us, yet.
Yeah.
So that was our biggest goal was to tour as much as possible and, gain as many fans and, gain some traction so that we could put the album out and it had some good support, behind it. And that is truly our bread and butter, like hands down, the live performances, like you said, at Elm Hill, nothing's changed, really.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely. It's just gotten better.
It's always just been us up there just trying to convince people that we know what we're doing.
Well, the whole thing with a band and making money, not that I've got like the best idea of how it goes, but I've had a little bit of luck, and it's, you gotta, eventually you get your shit together enough to like really like give it a good try.
Yes.
And 2020 was like really what happened at the end of 2018, we got together and said, okay, look, if we're going to keep doing this, we need to make a record that sounds exactly pretty much like our live show, because that's what people are gravitating to. So let's do that, put it out and all this. And I was like, if we do all these things, the rest of the dominoes will fall in place. And sure enough, we made a record that sounds basically what our live show sounds like. We got a booking agent. Shit was about to be popping. Like we were already on the road pretty steady from end of December till March.
Yeah.
And so all of that had happened, and we were starting to make more, not a lot of money yet, but we were on the right track to where we'd at least be able to
pay an electric bill.
I always say we'd at least be able to go to Thanksgiving and like hold our head a little bit higher than we have the last decade or so. You know what I mean?
I feel that. I understand it. Trust me.
Then the whole pandemic thing kind of shut that down. But luckily we didn't have to go to Thanksgiving. So there's that.
We didn't have to talk about our sorrows.
Well, and it's like whenever I would have, because I never hit it as hard as you guys, but I tried the music thing for a long time, and I'm still trying. I'm still writing, and you just never know. But it's like, it is such a grind, and you never know when that moment is. And I know for you guys, you've had, and Stevie, I wanted to correct you on something because you don't give yourself enough credit. And you say, well, nobody knows us. Nobody knows us. Well, like, there have been these moments where some very impressive people have known you guys and have recognized what talents you are. And you've had these moments where, and I know you guys and myself included, you think that's it. Yeah. It's like we talked about this year. You've got the booking agent, you're ready to go. Yeah. And then things change or something doesn't pan out. And that is, don't you think that is a very typical music industry, music world story that maybe doesn't get told as much?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially, I'm sure, I don't know other industries quite like I know music, but I have to guess that the music industry has changed more times, like fundamentally changed over the last 20 years. Just like from when I started, I was like, 18. And so, it was like 16, 17 years ago. And like from the time I was really hitting it hard, like I'm talking basic fundamental ways of how you make money completely changed. Mm-hmm. So, and this is just like another one of those things. So, as hard as it hits, it's like, okay, well, I guess we just have to adjust again. But like, how many more times until like we get some stable ground?
Right. And I don't want to discredit, like the fans that we do have have just been so supportive and so amazing. But like, here's the difference between, in my brain, how I always kind of viewed it was like, okay, the more fans, the better we are, mostly because it's not like having a bakery, right? Where you get a repeat customer, right? Comes in, oh, I love this donut. And then they come in the next day, then they bring their friends. That's what shows are for.
That's right.
So once you buy my album, so let's say 400 people have our album. I am so incredibly grateful for that. But now they have the album.
Now what?
And now what?
Yeah.
You know, so the shows are meant for just, you know, it's not like like a bakery or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can't keep going and get something different. I mean, we try to push out as much content as we can, and we're writing songs all the time, but like this is our donut.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And you got to hope that somebody brings a dozen friends with them.
Exactly.
You know, next time they get to see a Towne show. Are you guys hearing, like, from your booking agent? Are there? I mean, and I know nobody technically knows, but are there plans for, like, if we get this vaccine going, because it sounds like that could potentially happen, maybe get some confidence in people again and maybe help some of these venues out and the artists at the same time, because that's something that doesn't get some of these small venues that are key to a lot of people, yourselves included, these small clubs where everybody plays a lot, they're struggling too. I mean, so are we hearing, I mean, is there light at the end of this tunnel at all yet? Is there a plan? Like, are they telling you, hey guys, we think we can get you back out there maybe June 1st, maybe March 1st, maybe anything like that?
No, honestly, we haven't heard any news. I think the booking agents are just as lost as the rest of us, you know. I mean, we're hopeful. I think we're always hopeful for, like, you know, things to get back in some kind of, you know, normal direction. But we can't even think about that, because we have to literally, like, every single day is just like, okay, what can we do today? Because we don't know if the venues will be open and at what capacity, and once they do open, will we even get into them? You know,
who's to say they're going to be in business? I was like, that's
a
a lot.
part.
That's a lot of confidence that I don't know that I have.
Yeah,
and that's where everybody's like, oh no, everything will be back open, and I'm like, it says who?
Yeah,
like
their bank accounts might not say that. That's the scary part. Like, it's easy to say, it'll go back to normal, but
I mean,
who knows?
And so that's kind of where we have to get creative. And Stevie had this incredible idea last spring where she was wanting to play campgrounds, and basically you go to the crowds. And so I think so we didn't do it then. Obviously, that was like at the beginning of the virus, and you know, you don't really know what to do. You're kind of just handcuffed. So I think that's what we're gonna do.
We don't think, we know.
We're rolling down to Florida in January, and we're just going to go after it. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, we're just going to go busking at some KOAs and whatever.
Well, here's the thing: like in the fishing world, like fishing tournaments are happening. Like the big tournament trails, they really had to reorganize how they do things. But they were one of the only sporting events called, you know, professional events. They finished their seasons without doing it in a bubble. Like they had to be careful. There weren't as many people allowed at the on-site events and things, but they're trudging ahead now going into next year. And I think seeing that people would show up at these weigh-ins and these different events, seeing that, like, people have to be craving live music. Like, I know I am. Like, concerts to me, like, I told Marissa the other night, like, it's truly like it's my love, it's my church, it's so many things to me. And I haven't got to see anybody in so long, obviously. I was going to get to see the Black Crows this summer, so screw you. You know, and for the however many time. But, you know, damn it, they were back together again. But I haven't seen it. So I know there's got to be so many people in that boat. So if you're there and you guys with your amazing talent, like, people are going to pay attention. I mean, that's just, and I love the fact that you're like, we're doing it. We're just going to do it.
We're doing it. I mean, like, you know, this year, actually, I just got back from, because we couldn't do Thanksgiving. I was like, I love to camp. I'm an outdoors girl. Okay.
Yeah.
So we went to Arkansas, because my boyfriend really wanted to catch some walleye because we can't really do that here in Texas. But so we went there and we just really roughed it for quite a while in cold weather. But I noticed, I'm like, the campgrounds, they're at half capacity. There's not a lot of people there, but we were so bored after 5 o'clock. The sun's down, we're sitting there. It is like, you can just hear the crickets. And like, it was so cold. Nobody was like, doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of went, oh man, I wish John was here. We could just start playing some music, at least give that part of ourselves, because I need to do that. But while I was sitting there, I was like, I wish somebody would just start playing a guitar at the campground the campsite next to us, because we needed something to do. I would have loved that. I mean, I would have been overwhelmed with emotion if that had happened. I probably would have started just crying, and because I need it. I just, I need to give it. I need to receive it. It's just like, that's just part of every bit of my life. So yeah, I definitely, I don't know what the question was. I went completely off topic, didn't I? But
I said you just got
an idea that you had. Yeah.
But
I get it.
Yeah, we're ready, and I've got all the things you could possibly need to have a good camping situation. So.
She is a pro camper, and I'm the guy that like sleeps in the van because I'm like, screw this. Why would I sleep on the ground?
Yeah, that's kind of me. And I know I'm an outdoors dude, and I'm going to get killed in the comments for even saying this. But yeah, I'm more of a glamper. We roll in with an RV. I'm your guy. Like if we're like, hey Luke, it's cold. Here's a tent. I'm like, we didn't have another option.
Yeah.
Like this is our only option.
Yeah.
Are you are you in the tent? What are you doing, Stevie?
Oh yeah. Well, when we were in Arkansas, I had a summer tent, so it was just a vented. It got down to 33 degrees at night. But my sleeping bag is pretty great. It's like Arctic approved, So like, but yeah, it got really cold, and I was like, what were we thinking? But at the same time, I love it. Like it was, it was a change of atmosphere, that's for sure.
It's beautiful out there, and you guys were on Ouachita, right? Lake Ouachita.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. It's amazing. I was totally mesmerized and blown away. Every time I put like a pole in the water, man, I got something different. Like, it was just like every single time, I'm like, wow, this thing is like just packed with all different kinds of fish.
One of my best friends in 2015, we had a tournament out there called the Forest Wood Cup. He won $500,000 on that lake.
Are you serious?
He did. He took Brad Knight, one of my.
I know. What are we doing?
One of my closest friends in the world. He lives up in East Tennessee. Great professional bass angler. But yeah, that's where his life. Like he had been struggling with tournaments and qualified for that tournament and won the damn thing on Lake Ouachita, $500,000.
Good for him. That's amazing. Because people don't. I mean, I get the benefits of fishing a lot because my boyfriend is a fishing guide when he's not touring himself. So I fish all the time, and like, people are like, oh, it's just so easy, and it's really not easy.
No,
it's not. I mean, it's only easy for me because he does everything for me. I mean, I know how to reel them in. That's about it. But I do enjoy it. But yeah, it's hard. It is not easy to do.
Now you catch a lot of hybrids and like stripers, right? That's what you guys fish for the most. Yeah,
that's right. That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing to eat.
Yeah. Those walleye. Did you catch walleye?
Well, yeah, we did, but we didn't get to. For good measure, for good luck, the next time we didn't keep them and eat
released them. That's the best freshwater fish I've ever had.
It is, honestly.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Because I don't get to catch them and eat them, I can't really say that they're my favorite, just because I don't prepare them or anything. So I've always had them cooked for me. But yeah, I'd love to get a good recipe on.
So I have to say, because I feel like people are, and this is always the Towne question, and I feel like this is very cliche to have to ask, but you know what? We got to throw it out there. You guys and gals out there noticing Stevie's mentioning her boyfriend. No, John's not her boyfriend.
Nope, not anymore.
Not anymore. See, there we go. That's what I was looking for. This is where this gets tricky. This gets tricky. So talk about navigating a band with your ex.
Just like any other two crazy people, we decided, well, we can't be together, so I guess we'll just have to live in a van together.
Yeah,
Exactly. Let's go play music at campground. I can't stand you in this relationship. Let's go sing for campers. Yeah. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Luke, we got so lucky, obviously, because, I can't imagine. I've dated. I've had some pretty serious relationships in my life, and I couldn't imagine being in a band with any of those guys ever. You couldn't pay me to do that. But with John, I think almost from the very beginning, we both knew, music was what brought us together, first of all, but we were just so, just so stubborn about, the music came first, relationship came so last, and there was just really no point in trying to pursue both. I feel like one was gonna lose out big time, and so we thought. John always says I didn't travel 600 miles to
get married.
Yeah,
it's like she moved from Pittsburgh, and I'm like, you didn't have to come to Nashville to get married. You could have literally just stayed there.
So I'm glad that we were both pretty. It was just a mutual thing. It was like we want to do. We both came from bands. We both came from. Music was our first love, and we wanted to keep it that way. So
yeah. And for me, you always kind of know when you got a good thing in music, whether you're in a band or what. Because I've been in a lot of bands, and some of them are pretty good. But when you think about longevity, being in a band period is more about the hang than it is the music. Always, right? Whether you're on the road, whether
the dumb inside jokes.
It's 23 hours a day of just hanging, and then 1 hour of work. But it's like, I don't care how good or great your band is. If you can't hang for those 23, it's going to suck.
Yeah, it's going to be miserable.
It's going to be, I've got buddies who make a great living that hate their lives. And, because they hate their band, but they make a ton of money doing it. They've done it long enough, but I just want to quit every day. And you're like, damn, like that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, but you find someone that you can hang with, that you do have a good thing going with. And, it's worth sticking with, and when you're just best friends with the person, and, you can bitch each other out and like not, leave one or the other at the truck stop. That's saying something,
just move on to the next thing. It's almost like a sibling thing. It's a family thing. You just get it off your chest and roll on.
Yeah.
Do you guys have those moments that much? Like when you are traveling, you do have those like.
Hey, did I mention that we're exes?
What?
Oh yeah.
Touche.
But it's so funny because like at this point, after a decade of working together and doing music together, we all have our moods. I will say that I am probably more moody than he is.
Shocker.
You looked at me like you wanted some backup there, John, and I'm just rolling with it. I figured it was John.
Hey, I'm admitting it. I'm taking full responsibility.
Okay.
I am definitely. I've got my moods, and there are days where I will just bitch him out and for no reason, and that's what he does. He starts laughing at me, and it's the best thing. He doesn't take it we just don't take it personal. It's like because there's nothing. There's just, there's nothing to break. There's, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no.
Well, there's nothing that I could say to you or you could say to me that I haven't heard or you haven't heard. You know what I mean? Like, once you say the worst shit to somebody, it's like,
it's over.
And it didn't like break it apart then. It's like, okay, I'll probably just stay with.
Yeah, we'll just, like, John's having a bad day. Stevie's having a bad day. Roll on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, and to build something with somebody that is like family is way, way more fulfilling than the alternative. With, like some other, sort of buddies that you play music well with. It's like, that's fine too, sort of, but not near as fulfilling or as rewarding. So this is.
Well, I got to think, and you see this a lot in Nashville, if you're a solo or you guys being a duo, you have a big song, big record deal, they put a band behind you. Hey, we put a band together for you. That you see that crap all maybe used to more than you do now, I guess, because I think things have changed some, a little bit. But can you imagine being that and like Luke Duncan, and then they give you a band? How weird that would feel. You're out on the road having, if you get successful in that situation, it'd be weird sharing that with people that are essentially strangers.
I mean, thank God that those exist, because some of those that are closest to us are those higher bands. Yeah.
Same here. I got friends that do it. It's a good thing. I'm just saying it would be a very strange situation to be in, I think.
Yeah.
Early on, anyways, and I think over time the road will make you either break you or make you love and hate each other. So you probably feel at the end of a tour like a family. I have no doubt. But I'm just saying, with you guys a decade in, whenever that number one song hits, that day is going to feel like nothing I could ever even imagine in my life. I'm going to feel like I was there because I've been pulling for that number one song since the first
train. Since Elm Hill, but
hey, listen, you guys played the Middle Tennessee District Fair in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and I may or may not have been the booking agent. So
I think we did it twice.
And when you guys play the Ryman, I better be backstage.
Yeah. I will never forget the three people that were in the crowd. And you were one of them. While the heckler, the clown.
The dunk tank
was
clown
booing us.
And it was raining, and Luke took us to a Mexican restaurant before, and so we're both burping the whole time.
Yes.
Burping. Oh, we were doing more than burping.
Yeah.
It was like,
that
day I will never forget, because I was like, it can only go up from here. And I'm not.
No, listen, I get it.
Fair, because I love fairs, but I'm saying it was raining. And I mean, nobody.
The heckler clown was a lot.
The heckler clown was literally right across from us. We were just gassy as all. I mean, it was like, get off. We didn't want to be on the stage.
Poor Marissa thought Mexican was a good idea. We blame her.
Hey, again, if there was like 1,000.
Are you telling me that's your worst gig? Like that's it?
No.
Come on.
Speaking of Mexican restaurants,
you want to hear about a bad gig?
I do.
Say where it was. So we played a Mexican restaurant in a basement. They didn't. I think they forgot they booked us, and they said, "Oh yeah, go downstairs." Downstairs was empty. Lights were off, and we could have left and took the money. Probably they wouldn't even.
But we just practiced.
But we just went down in the basement to nobody. Like not one person. Not even the bartender showed up, and we just played it for 3 hours.
just like you would have been you're at home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, but it was great. Yeah, that particular gig was kind of great because we got paid, but we were on the road, and it was like a Wednesday night. So
you're not expecting a lot anyway.
Yeah. So we played the basement of a Mexican restaurant, and it was an interesting time.
It was interesting.
So but the Lawrenceburg Fair, that was like Madison Square Garden.
Remember when we played at the fair? That fair, I'm pretty sure. But that particular time, we were outside.
They put us on the
Demolition Derby. And they accidentally put us on the Derby speakers.
Yes.
Or whatever it was that was going on in so we could hear I was like, we were singing,
some song.
Whatever. Some song? We were probably singing Hillbilly Bills, Luke. What
I'm talking about. We're going to get there. there.
So we're singing
Greatest Hit.
I can hear the echo, and I'm like, what's going on? And later on, we found out that they accidentally put our sound
on the arena because they were having the Demolition Derby, and maybe they had to stop, they had to have the fire truck out to hose down a car or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we were on the loudspeaker for the Demolition Derby.
Yeah,
Didn't know it.
Funny.
Hillbilly Bill's just out there
yeah.
blaring.
Bills.
I think bad gigs unify all artists. I don't care if it's like the Stones, which the Stones probably haven't had a bad gig in a while. But it's a bad example. Okay?
They don't remember it.
They don't remember it. Too many stadium gigs in between for Mick and the boys. But I will say, those stories, from every musician you know that can still remember them, that's what brings everybody together. I had a good one this week, and I got to tie it in. I've got a sponsor of the show, StarTron, that make like this fuel treatment. And
the outboard engines, that kicks it in the teeth.
Yeah, that's right. Kicks in the teeth right there.
I know.
Yeah. So John is on it. John is on it. StarTron, I'm calling you, Greg Dornow. You better sponsor their next tour. He loves music. So they want us to come down and play. Shannon Wheeler and I, a good friend of mine, plays fiddle. He's amazing bluegrass fiddler. We go down, and it's in Montgomery, Alabama, and they got 170 employees. They roll them out for this luncheon. And y'all know, y'all done this for way longer than I have, but those are good ideas on paper sometimes, right? Like, hey, we're going to have live music for our employees that have been working their ass off all day, and they're going to love it.
Yeah.
Well, country music's not everybody's gig, and my kind of country music's not everybody's gig, and I get that. It's not everybody's deal. I swear to y'all, they had this big spread of food, amazing lunch. They got us set up in front of the loading dock. We're doing our deal.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it goes open with a little Biloxi Blues. Y'all may know it from the podcast or whatever I said. Something stupid, feeling like I'm at the Ryman. I'm not. So, crickets, of course, and 170 folks turning around like this.
Yeah.
They started folding the tables up for the second song. We were supposed to listen. The employees. I came home and told Marissa, "So you know what I found out? 170 people would rather breathe in chemicals at a chemical plant than listen to my ass." There were several that stayed out there and had a big time, but it was so funny. Shannon goes, "Hey man, how long are we supposed to do this?" I said, "Not much longer."
Man, the trick that I found is to make it through those gigs is that as long as I'm having fun,
that's it.
It's all. So like once you reach the point where you're like, okay, the crowd is kind of a lost cause. So the best that I can do is to have myself a good time. And then if there's anybody at all out there, maybe they'll have a good time when they see me and Stevie having a good time together. And you just have to turn them off. And that's about the best you can do.
We were in an industrial park. Yeah. So I was just shouting out all the other companies, hoping they were having a time. Hey, anybody over there like this?
That's good. That's
nothing.
A good idea.
But just had, just kept pumping. Luke Duncan, follow me on Instagram. Yep. See you guys.
Next time we'll get a clown in a dunk tank set up across, and we'll give you the full
heckling clown. That's the key to that. Not just a clown, a heckling clown with terrible. He's a savage.
I love it. Because who else has that story? Who else has that story?
That is truly. I forgot. I didn't forget about you guys being there. I forgot about the rain and the no people in the damn clown. I was so excited that you guys were here. I remember going to dinner. I remember like the next night, David Nail played out where they did the demo derby. And because there's a picture in our house, Marissa's got her Devious Angels shirt on.
Yeah.
And then I'm buying merch. Just out here buying merch.
Vintage.
So I want vintage tea. So I want to ask you guys this, and then I'm going to beg and plead that we get some Towne music played on Low Budget Live.
Yeah.
So I want to know this just because I feel like right now, for whatever reason, there's a ton of albums coming out, which is strange because like you said, normally you've got a big tour to follow. You know what I mean? Like Stapleton, who doesn't need that necessarily anymore, but he releases this album, can't do anything with it. Who knows for how long? Beautiful record, but Taylor Swift dropped like a surprise one. Sturgill Simpson has these 2 bluegrass albums that are amazing. But I was going to ask you guys, out of all the new music coming out, besides the Towne album, what are you listening to right now, like new music-wise?
Go ahead, John. This is more you because
So
I'm like a hermit.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
listen
still-
to anything.
she's still listening to like Bob Seger. But
Working on the
yeah, you are.
I don't listen. Well,
Yeah, you do.
I have his records, but I don't listen to them.
No, man, I've been digging into just 2 days ago or a couple days ago, that new Sturgill came out. God, I love it. And that hobo cartoon.
It's so beautiful.
And you know, I've been reading these reviews and everybody's like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool. Yeah, he wrote it with Haggard. And I'm like, that's one of the best songs on the record. Like
By far.
it's not a novelty thing, but that whole record I love it. And I love it a lot more than the first Cutting Grass. I mean, and I like that too.
Yeah.
I felt like this was much more of like an album. And I felt like,
For sure.
yeah, I felt like Volume 1 was like, hey, I told y'all I'd make this
So we did
thing
it.
if y'all raise the money. And I felt like a little bit more thought got put into Volume 2 because I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I loved one. Like one came out around, it was like the year anniversary of my mom passing away. And I go hiking all the time and running. And that album, for whatever reason, when it came out, like I remember running through the woods one morning. It's beautiful. Like, and bluegrass is in general, but his songwriting's so great anyways. But like that first volume, like All Around You and Just Let Go, like all those songs around that time, I was like, okay, this is a special one.
Yeah.
All right. But this new one, you're right. It has that feel of it's a true album. Like, not forced. It's just
right.
It could be the soundtrack to your.
Yeah, absolutely. And that hobo cartoon song is, and I didn't realize he wrote it with Haggard until I read that. Somebody was kind of going, on Twitter.
Like,
That's kind of cool, I guess.
What more do you want out of a song? Like, it is a perfect song.
It is. And I saw, John, you tweet that you liked that Sound and Fury album, which I did too.
Oh, like, God, I loved it.
I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. A good friend of mine called it he's like, what is this, disco rodeo? What the hell is this? And I'm like, it's awesome. I mean, it just shows his, first willingness to take chances, but I mean, it kind of blew him up a little bit though. Like people were pissed, like walking out of shows, whatever. And now I think he's turning it around, slowly but surely.
I see all of these Kentucky artists kind of blowing up. And I'm from Kentucky as well, right around the same, where like Tyler and Chris and Sturgill and all that, like we're kind of all right over here in that little area. And what I see a lot of, not so much with Tyler, because he's always kind of done that thing, but Chris with the Johnson Brothers, which is a rock band.
That's right.
Sturgill and like we all grew up wanting to get the hell out of Appalachia, right? You can paint it however you want. You talk about bluegrass. Every community event I went to growing up had clog dancers and bluegrass music, and I hated it. I was like, this is the lamest shit ever.
You want to get away from it.
I want to be in Guns N' Roses, period. That's what I wanted to be. And obviously you come back around to it, or I have, and obviously they have as well as they've grown older, but all of the influences, we're all about the same age. We were all into Nirvana. We were all into Guns N' Roses. And to think that you're just going to make music that fits a particular thing. I mean, being from, I guess, anywhere probably, but especially that little Appalachia region, all you want to do is get out, because when we were growing up, there was nothing. I mean, nothing. So all you dreamed about was just leaving, and you're getting as far as you can from bluegrass. So I see a lot where Sturgill's coming from, where he's making just these wild sounding records. But they're all, the songwriting is so simple.
If you take that synth off of it, that's what I said. If you take all this sound and like this production, every one of his fans will be like, "Did you hear that new Sturgill record? Badass! Throw some pedal steel on there, some telly." They'd be losing their mind over the same exact song. That's why I hope, and I hope there's another volume of this bluegrass stuff to come where he covers, do those, break them down and make everybody go, "Oh, those are not so bad," because you never gave them a chance,
Yeah.
All right. So, Stevie, you're listening to Seeger, and John's listening to Sturge.
He's just, I don't know. Honestly, to be honest, I have not, it's just been a weird year for me. I have not really listened to anything new. I've spent most of my time revisiting things I never really got a chance to listen to because we were so busy with being on the road. And I mean, we were rehearsing, 3 times a week and being on the road for the other part. So I never really listened to music. We always listened to whatever the guys want to listen to on the road. Just a bunch of...
That's a dig in case you missed that.
Oh, I know. I caught it. I caught it, but I threw it right back.
Hey, well, my rule is if you're driving, you can pick the radio station.
Guess who doesn't drive?
We wouldn't be sitting here if I was driving.
No, because we'd still be coming back from the last damn show. She drives like a grandmother.
What? Well, what have you revisited then? I need. This is.
So here's what's crazy is, so I have been a Brandy Carlisle fan literally like forever. I mean, like since when she came out with The Story, I knew that existed before anyone else did. Because I remember seeing her play it live on something. I think it was like maybe on VH1 or something when that was still on. But anyway, she played it and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to learn that song. And it had not even like come out yet. So I was like such a big fan of hers. Fast forward, like I met John, he had no clue who Brandy Carlisle was. Yeah. So I got to introduce him to somebody that, I mean, that's probably one of the only artists you had never, you're like the king of knowing everybody and all the liner notes and all that stuff. Yeah. But, so Brandy Carlisle, man, like, I have been listening. She did a live, I can't even remember the record now, unless it was in front of me, but I just listened to this yesterday. It was her live at I'd have to look it up.
Oh, was that like Seattle thing, like the symphony, like with the symphony?
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, is it? I mean, it's so good. I'm just like in tears. I'm like, this person, thank God I lived while she did, because I'm like, that's just cool. I mean, her voice is an instrument. She is so good at what she does, and those brothers that back her up, those harmonies, man.
The twins, yeah.
I mean, you just can't, it doesn't get better than that. That one album, Bear Creek.
That's what I was going to say. That one's great.
Like, I'm just like, this is just the best shit ever. I can literally listen to this for the rest of my life and be totally cool. You know? Like, this
I saw her, it's been a long time ago. But I saw her open for Ray LaMontagne at the Tabernacle in Atlanta. And Ray had just came out. It was like their first album. And I drove over there to see him with a friend of mine. And she opened on acoustic. Mm-hmm. And she closed with her version of Cohen's Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And I cried. Like, I cried. Like, I was like, I'm not bashful to say. Like, I just sat there in the upper deck, just like, what is happening right now? This lady is amazing.
Yeah.
But nobody knew who she was then. So I looked her up, and I think there were like some deal from like a radio station in Seattle on iTunes that you could get of hers, but she didn't really have like an album. I think it was about to come out. And so fast forward like a couple years later, she still wasn't like this household name. It was before The Story and all that stuff. But I went to see her one night by myself at the Exit Inn.
Uh-huh.
And I hope I don't offend anybody with this story. And I mean, no offense to anyone. But I look around and like, I'm the only dude there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. I mean, Brandy Carlisle show. This is cool. What's up, ladies?
Yeah.
I dig Brandy too.
Not interested, Luke.
Then I started noticing that they all showed up with each other. And I was like, cool, right on. Hey.
Representing.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that she, like this entire movement, that she means so much to so many people. And this was when she was so small, man. Like she was nothing of this juggernaut, Grammy-winning, like guest on so many albums. She was on Dirk's, his last album. Yeah,
Just
did
absolutely obsessed.
Oh yeah, the Highwaymen, Highwomen. Yeah,
yeah.
So hard to say for a redneck, but
I mean, that's going back to like how weird the music industry is. Yeah, I went and saw her like 3 or 4 years ago.
You didn't take me. I've never seen her.
Well, you guys had broken up, so don't worry about it.
Exactly.
No.
You were probably fishing.
You know what? He brought back a blanket.
I did. I got her a blanket. It was a throw rug. Yeah, like a throw blanket.
I was like, thanks, man. He's like at the last minute, he calls me and he's like, where did she perform?
At the pageant in St. Louis. The
only reason I went last minute, I was so mad.
Our friend Anderson East was opening for her on the tour. And so I said, okay, well, I'll go and, really just, I'll see both shows. And I was excited to see Brandy and thinking that it was just, I didn't know what to expect. But like Bear Creek had already been out, like Christofferson was in the video. I'm like, oh, it's going to be pandemonium. But like, it might have been sold out. I don't think so. I mean, but yes, same situation you had with Exit In. And I'm like, how is not everybody in St. Louis here right now? Like to see how incredible she is. And then, it was just a couple years later to where, it really took off for her. But like she'd been amazing for like 15 years at that point.
Yes.
And like she'd been in the consciousness, like putting out records. And it's like, how is this just not pandemonium in here? And why is it only like all women here? Like, you know.
Yeah, she's finally getting.
She's getting her due now, and
deserves,
if anybody, there's nobody who deserves it more than Brandy Carlisle.
No, she's amazing.
So she's my go-to. I listen.
That's your go-to.
I mean, all of her stuff. I am just absolutely obsessed with. She can do no wrong. She's phenomenal, and her writing. She's so honest with her writing, and like how she develops her writing. When Bear Creek came out, she was very like. I really wanted to get better at country, and she really wanted to dig deep and get a little more rusty, with her words. And that doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense to me. She wanted it to just have some, I don't know, more layers, and and it's just so good. And I'm just proud of her. Like she's like my sister or something.
I don't know her from Eve, but damn it, I'm proud of her.
I'm so proud.
Well, joining us now, Low Budget Live, Brandy Carlisle. Hang on a second. On the Startron Hotline.
Right.
No, I wish. All right. Well, speaking of good albums, let's hear something from In the Between.
Let's
do that. Let's hear it. In the In Between, let's hear it.
Let's see. I'm going to try to make this microphone a little bit better placed.
And I would like to apologize for anybody listening to this if my microphone sounds muddy or if none of the audio is good, because we don't know. You know what? We're figuring it out as we go, damn it. If it doesn't work, guess what? We're going to do it again another time, sooner than later.
That's right.
Do you want to do Don't Say Goodbye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, right. We do.
I've been like embarrassingly coughing through this whole interview because your heater's jacked up to Jesus in here.
Damn right it is.
I'm still in that for a hook, by the way.
Jacked up to Jesus.
Jacked up to Jesus.
So this is a song called Don't Say Goodbye.
Yeah.
And it goes like this.
I don't know how we got here, but here we are. I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix all our broken parts. Small talking silhouettes of all that's left of a wicked wildfire. Can we still be friends after all of this? Well, I don't wanna ask, 'cause I don't wanna know who stole your heart, who drove it home. If you ever love me, do me a favor, don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye. can't help but wonder how long it's been going on. I wonder, would it help if I said everything's my fault? 'Cause if this is the last time that I look in your eyes, I don't wanna ask, 'cause I don't wanna know who stole your heart, who drove it home. If you ever love me, do me a favor, don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye. If you ever love me, do me a favor, don't say goodbye, see you later, see you around, don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye, ooh, don't say goodbye.
Oh, I made it through it without coughing.
It sounded, like heaven.
Oh, did it? I was wondering how it would sound with this microphone. I was like, is it like...
you know what? And I hope through the recording, I just pray that it comes across as awesome as it sounded right then in these headphones.
Oh, awesome.
Because
Thank you.
It sounded really good. That's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite songs you guys have ever done. Honestly, like I love that harmony. Is that now? What is your favorite song? I'll throw it to each of you on the album. Like, what's your, as far as like from a writing standpoint or performing standpoint?
Well, yeah, there's a couple that stand out for like favorites for different reasons. But when it came to figuring out what we wanted to name the album, it's called In the In-Between. That's the name of the song that it's one of my favorite parts of the show. And it's definitely one of my favorite songs we've ever written. But gosh, there's just like, I mean, so this album is, almost a decade in the making. So we've got songs on here from less than a year ago, and we've got songs on here from 9 years ago. Yeah. And so it's really hard to pick, like stuff that I really love. We have a song called Buckingham and Nix that I love. Yes. There's a line in that song that says, we built castles in the sand we knew would wash away, but damn, we built them anyway. And like, it just, every time we sing the song, I feel like we're singing a cover. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we got to do this song justice.
Great line.
I love this. And I'm like, those songs are special, but gosh, I just love, not to, talk ourselves up or anything.
I think that's why we're here. We're here to talk ourselves up.
I'm pretty sure when you do media,
right.
I'm just, it was actually kind of hard to pick the songs for this record because I love them all so much know, and like we're already thinking about the next album and I don't know how we're going to pick, it's like,
well, because the way we find out what songs that we love to do live, we find that out by playing live.
Yeah.
And you're okay, I don't know. I mean, honest to God, this was the easiest for just personally, album to figure out what songs to put on just because, and I obviously, Stevie has her way of thinking about it too, but I was like, well, let's just not make it more complicated than it is. What songs go over best live?
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? Like whatever
that was our rule.
Is.
That was definitely our rule. Like there were songs that we loved so much, but maybe it just didn't for whatever reason, it just wasn't the right time to record it. You
Yeah.
know, it just wasn't resonating with people. Now we've got music where I'm like, oh my gosh, this has to come out. People
Yeah.
need to hear this song.
Yeah.
This song is so important. You know, I feel like everything has a time and a place, right? So but this record, because it was such a live, we wanted to capture what we did live. You know, we basically recorded our set list.
That's basically what we
like
did.
And so I love all the songs for different reasons, but I love In the In Between because it's just it's like a dainty, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of something we probably would have written at the beginning, like when we first started out. So yeah, it makes me, I like that song.
Yeah. And
well, I think we've got to hear it.
No.
Oh yeah. Well,
I think we've got to hear that.
First, I'll tell you what my favorite is, and I agree with you, Luke. I think "Don't Say Goodbye" is probably my favorite, and for several different reasons. But the way the recording turned out was just such a good driving song.
Yeah,
and
I
like
love the way
you know, we were talking about earlier, where you know, most nights I'm just driving the van, or most days, or whatever, and because there's nothing I love better than just driving. And a good driving song, man, that goes right to my heart. And I'll be damned if we didn't have a driving song up until like a month before we went in to record the album. But I was like, we got to write one. And so we wrote "Don't Say Goodbye." And then 2 weeks after that, 2 weeks before we went into the album, we wrote "In the In Between." Because I don't know, that was another type of song we wanted. But
yeah. Well, I love sad songs.
Listen, that's.
I mean, I literally can't.
They're the best.
I will listen. If I'm in a really good mood, I want to listen to a sad song. Is that just, you know what I mean? It's just like, maybe it's because I feel guilty because I'm in such a good mood. I just want to feel bad. I don't know what it is, but this song, when we finished it, or when we recorded it, I mean, when we were in the studio, I cried. I couldn't get through a take. When we were when we were on stage, I used to tell everybody, you know, I used to apologize beforehand and say, you know, I'm sorry if I can't get through this song, just because, you know, that's the deal. When you're in a band and you're playing your own songs, you're going to get emotional. And if you don't get emotional, then you're doing
something wrong.
I mean, I don't know. But I think, you know, I've grown a heart of stone over the years, so I won't cry this time, probably.
Don't cry on LBL. If you do cry on LBL, I mean, I'm here for it. We'll just isolate it, and I'll change the title to this video, and so Luke Duncan in Towne or whatever, however I'm going to title it, to "I Made This Woman Cry."
Luke,
and it'll get a bunch of views.
Cry.
Over Brandy Carlisle. I'll throw some real clickbaity stuff in there to get us a bunch of views.
Yes.
Fight with Brandy Carlisle brings on tears.
Okay.
All right. In the In Between. And I want to do my David Letterman, performing their title track.
Yes.
From their new album, In the In Between. Here's Towne with In the In Between.
In the In Between. Here we go. Sorry, I got to remember. We haven't been on the road all year. I got it. All right, here we go.
You and me, we break uneven, even when we've won. Hardest part of us was leaving. What is done is done. Don't offer me apologies, and don't show up in my memories. You know it isn't fair to haunt me when I'm weak. In the in between. Nothing left here to hold on to but don't offer me apologies and don't show up in my dreams. You know it isn't fair to haunt me when I'm weak. In the in-between. So don't offer me apologies and don't show up in my memories. You know it isn't fair to haunt me when I'm weak. In the in-between. In the
That deserved like an emphatic, lots of people throwing roses and hotel keys and
That's right. Yeah.
Amen.
I mean that was tough right there, guys. I wasn't gonna cry. No, there's cutting onions downstairs.
Yeah.
That's all it was. No, it was beautiful.
I made it
beautiful.
through. Look, I'm dry. Look, there's nothing going on.
I love the harmony on that, and I love that finger picking, just that whole progression. Man. It's just such a good melody, man.
That's how it
started.
How it started. We had hooked up with a buddy of ours who lives down in Atlanta named Levi Lowry, who's another great songwriter.
Yeah.
Wrote like Colder Weather for Zach Brown and all that. And we just got a hankering. It was like 2 Januaries ago. We were like, hey, dude, or I guess last January. Mm-hmm. And said, hey, dude, what are you doing? You care if we just come down, right? Because we're about to go into the studio next week or whatever. And he's like, yeah, come on. So it was raining. It was miserable. It was January. And then you're driving to Atlanta, so it's like double miserable. And so we get down there, and my brain is just fried. All this, and we go downstairs, and we're writing, and I knew that I wasn't going to be much help personally because I couldn't think. I was like, I got this one guitar lick, and I have this song title from years ago. And actually, speaking to you, I think I sent you the original in between like 9 years ago. I had written some like Stone Cold Country something, and I had texted it to you, and it's totally weird.
Really?
You know what? I think I remember that because I think it was for a melody I was messing with. At the time, I think I remember the conversation.
And it was some Stone Cold like country song that, I don't even think I even showed it to Stevie back then, but I had the title and I liked the title. And so we made it down there. It's like, guys, here's all I got. I got this guitar melody and I got this title. Y'all run off with it. Mm-hmm. And they killed it. And
that was a quick one.
Yeah.
That was
quick. It's because I wasn't in the way.
Well, you set it up. I mean, he set up the dominoes and then we just pushed them over. Basically.
Do you think the best ones always come quick like that, though? Like, just as far as, to me, the ones that I keep, I guess, you know what I'm saying? The ones that I would play for somebody are the ones that I feel like or whether they may take longer than they seem, but it seems easy, if that makes sense sometimes, Oh, yeah. You don't have to force it. When I sit down, I want to write a song about this.
Because I just feel like that's not you writing it. That's the whole other thing,
That's a different deal.
When that happens and it's just so perfect that way, I always get this feeling of just like, that's just not me. That's something else moving in me. And I mean, that's just, you know, it doesn't happen very often. I'm glad it doesn't, because boy, would we be just spoiled. And I don't even know if it would be, I live for those moments.
I do too.
And so, yeah, like it is definitely, I just don't take credit. Now, if I work for like a month on a song, that's on me. Okay. I know. That is me tearing apart every good thing I probably ever had coming out of me and just messing everything up. Okay. But, yeah, when it's just so pure and it just falls out, that's just that's not a me thing or anything.
There's another song on this record that is sort of a hybrid of both of those ways of writing. It's called Running Into You. And we had written like the verses and all this stuff like several months before. And we were like, oh, it kind of feels good. Like it could be a cool thing, but we didn't really know what we were going to do with the chorus. And so we just kind of sat there. And then it was just one day, but the chorus just was like, bloop. Like I'm talking like 5 minutes and you're like, oh, that's the chorus. And so you just like placed it in there and it was done. So
it's copy and paste.
Yeah. Overall the song took like maybe 3 months or something, but it was like the parts we kept like all together maybe took 10 minutes, you know, where it's just like da 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 da.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would like to say whether it takes 10 minutes or 10 years to get a number one, I think you guys are going to do it. That's for sure.
We hope you're right.
It's common, man. I do. It's everything musically right now. Guys, if you're listening to what's on the radio, these folks are doing that and then some. Go check out Towne. Like these, I never understand. And I shouldn't say I never understand. Love what you love musically, but like sometimes you got to get a little outside of what you get told. Hey, this is your 10 artists you can listen to. There are so many great artists out there, independent artists like John and Stevie. They're out there working hard, trying to make a living. And you hear how hard it is to put these albums together and live in a van, these struggles that they go through. Go buy a damn album. Yes. Go buy a T-shirt. Tell them everywhere they can find it, digitally and otherwise.
Okay, so I always recommend go to our website.
Okay.
It's townemusic.com. TOWNE music.com. And, you know, definitely we're doing a thing right now where when you buy the record, a physical copy, not so much, not the digital download, but a physical copy of the record. We send you out like a guitar pick, a Towne guitar pick. You get lyrics, a handwritten lyric. So, you know, we try to personalize it as much as possible to show our gratitude for the support.
That's awesome.
And so that's going on. Definitely do that. You know, we're on Spotify and we're on
all the everythings,
whatever streaming platform you listen to, we're on it. But the best way to support musicians right now is to buy the album, a physical copy. And so we would just really appreciate that. And I just can't thank you enough, Luke, for letting us get on here and
it was my pleasure. Trust me.
Your face, man.
I know.
So it's just been so long, and you know, I still get giddy like when we do interviews. First, I'm like, well, I'm doing an interview talking about music that we wrote. Like that's just so cool. And you know, when I was a little girl, all I ever wanted to do was this. So. I'm gonna cry.
You made her.
I got my clickbait right there. That's all I needed. Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna do this so I can edit it. Yeah, take that. Stevie. Don't ever treat John like that again. Well,
you know what I mean? Like people,
I get it.
I probably took it for granted. Like, I mean, we're still at the beginning, even though we've done so much, you know, 10 years, you're always at the beginning, you know?
Listen, I get it. I mean, I never thought, my life's gone a million different ways, but I truly had two loves growing up. One was fishing and one was music. And my dad gave both of those to me. But I mean, he's playing me John Hyatt stuff when I'm a kid. And I got into writing poems when I was like 9, because I was listening and I didn't play an instrument. So, but I would write all this just rhymey, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were songs. I didn't know it then, but they were songs, And then as I got older, so it's always been a big love for me. So now to get to combine the two, to not only do this and get to talk to friends like you guys, I get to share my music like this now, not necessarily I'm with you. Trust me. Every day I'm like, this is so bizarre. Like anytime somebody messages me like, hey man, I found you've got an album. Like I didn't realize that. And I'm like, absolutely. So, but this past week I spent with my buddy Shannon here. He brought his recording gear and we recorded a few songs, a few new songs.
I saw that. I can't wait to hear it, dude.
We're I'm excited because, like you said, I put that thing out in like 13. I've been writing ever since, off and on. But then, as we're in here, I had a couple things I'd been working on, and he's like, "Whoa, what was that?"
Yeah.
I sat in the chair in front of the microphone and wrote wrote lyrics to something and it just happens, and I'm like, "Whoa!" And he goes, "Dude, that's the one." And so it's so exciting to be, I will never say I'm a musician because you guys are musicians.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
a hacker, but I love to write, and I love that I get the opportunity to share it with folks. So, and if one person cares or 100,000,
exactly.
Yeah,
right?
it means something and everything.
It does. It's your heart and soul.
Yeah.
So I thank you guys, and I hope you'll have an awesome Christmas. And I hope I never make you cry again, Stevie, because I didn't like that.
And once I start, it doesn't. I want to say it doesn't take much, but that's just such a lie. I don't know.
Well, it might not seem like it takes much, but it all builds up.
I put this big wall up, like around my heart, and I'm like, I can take it. I'm good. I got no feelings.
Tough
and then
girl.
all it takes is just a little puncture, just like the
sweet
smallest
thing.
little,
the sweetest little thing.
And then here it comes.
Yeah.
Floodgates.
Yeah.
Floodgates.
Yeah, my eyelashes are falling off.
Well, you low-lifers listening to this, be sure to go follow Towne at Towne Music, correct? On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Keep up with
everything.
And John does his quarantine updates, and he's splitting wood, and I could tell Stevie's like, John, what are you doing?
I've got to do update tonight, and on the newest episode, my stepdad's dog bit me almost in the wiener, and so I've got a picture of my leg where he bit me. So
so there you go. That's something to look forward to right there.
Look forward to.
If you're listening, the latest update of potential wiener biting incident.
Yes.
I mean, I'm there for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Towne.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Towne. I'm so grateful that they agreed to do that. They're busy. And it's a crazy, crazy time. And Zoom is less than perfect. My audio on Zoom always sucks, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. But I appreciate their patience in doing that. That took a little bit to set up there with the fine folks from Towne, and been knowing them for a long time. Like I said in the interview, and I said before, just some of my favorite people, man, and I pull for them every single day. And they've written some songs that are hits, and they've just not fallen on the right ears, in my opinion. They've got several of those that are just big songs, and they work so hard at their craft in performing live and writing songs. And really cool to have them on. And for me, I hope it comes through. My passion for music is just as strong as my passion for bass fishing and the music industry. I keep up with it kind of like I do the fishing industry. So want to do more and more of that. Be sure to comment below whether you liked it or not. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. And if you like John and Stevie, you like what they got going on, make sure you go check them out. Make sure you go download a song. Make sure you get on their website. Buy a dang t-shirt. Support them. Buy a bumper sticker. Buy a hat. I don't know what all they got for sale over there, but go check it out. Towne Music, absolutely fantastic. Good people, and you are representing hard work whenever you support somebody like that. That is for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in to every LBL, every LD, and the MC. I certainly appreciate it. And actually, I have to pinch myself about every day that this is even reality to get to do this, because I'm having way too much fun. I mean, if you couldn't tell in that interview, I was just giddy to get to bring y'all that. And hope you enjoyed it. Be sure we're coming up on the holidays. I know it's a rough time for a lot of us out there that are missing loved ones, that's for sure. And make sure to hug your mama, hug your daddy. Make sure to do that. I'm going to take you out on that note of that music thing. Going to take you out with a little Biloxi Blues, as we always do. Got some new music coming. Whoo, Shannon Wheeler sent me the first mixes of it. Can't wait for y'all to hear it. And I hope y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday with some daggum LBL. It's going to be a good one, I promise. And until then, I'll see y'all next time.
Spanish moss and Civil War ghosts, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west, north, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care, no, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.